Hello, friends. Today we're going to watch GH from Team Nigma play Rubick. Ignore the fact that his in-game name is Miracle. This is indeed GH. He is rank 9 on Team Nigma. Very good player. Let's learn a little bit about playing Rubick from him. One of the older builds to play Rubick was boots and one set of tangos. That is a little bit dated at this point. I've been seeing a lot more people buy heavy stats on the hero, and then you focus a bit more on right clicks and efficient trading. I think that makes a lot of sense in this lane because I think the boots lane can still work depending on the heroes you have. But in this lane, look at who he's against. He's against a CK and a Snapfire most likely. That's a very scary lane. They could get kills quite easily. But with this amount of stats, he's got 5 stats here. That's an extra 100 health. It's almost an extra armor. It's just a little short. You know, some extra mana, extra damage. It's just very good for a heavy laning focused playstyle. You are with an offlane Void Spirit, who personally I think is not the strongest laner, and so I think you have to help him a decent amount. You can't leave him alone in the lane. That's kind of what boots are good for, is to be able to roam around more, to pull the creep wave back to your tower, stuff like that. But if Void Spirit is fragile enough to just die to a CK and Snapfire combo, it doesn't really work. So I like the stat build, and GH is doing it, so at least he thinks it's good this game. Ooh, I want to point that out. Look at this. Everyone's taking their courier out. When there was only one courier, people were really good about this. And then when everyone got a courier, it's funny, it seemed to slip. But now it seems like more people are getting good about it. If we look at the enemy team, now you can't see it, but on the minimap, you can tell that they also have their couriers out of the fountain. So go ahead, try to do that. It's something you can do at the start of the game. It's very minimal, to be honest, but it will get you your item a couple seconds faster, and that could be the difference in some cases. Now take a look at his... Okay, we'll play this actually. Let's talk about this first. So he's going to throw out Fade Bolt, get some right-click damage. He has the extra mana for it. He'll regen it before he really needs it, so it's fine. Look at the items he's buying. A magic stick, pretty good for a fighting lane, plus they are going to cast a decent amount of spells every time they go for a kill, so you get a lot of charges. Raindrops, another laning item. You get mana regen, but you also get this damage block. Fairy Fire, you can bait people out with the kills with the extra health. Mango, Clarity, some instant regen in terms of the Mango, but still pretty efficient, fast regen, consumable from the Clarity. It's all about staying in the lane, fighting, and then of course you will eventually need boots. That'll help you keep your distance from these, stuns and kill threat, but also help you move around the map, so he has that queued as well. Now this lane is a little tough because you have the kill threat from these guys. Now I want to point out here how... Okay, see this melee creep? See how it's come to him? What he would love to do is to pull this melee creep back, and then these creeps would fight this creep, and that helps to pull the lane this way, because your creeps are stuck up here, and then eventually the next creep wave moves up a little further. But his job is also to use Fade Bolt to secure these range creeps. And this range creep will get denied. CK has fantastic damage, and no one is here. So this range creep will get denied, and the lane will start to shift in their favor. If these guys hit level 2 first, or at any point if they start to get a level advantage, that's going to be really hard for these guys, because they do have a kill lane here. So this is about as far as he can go. Oops, where's Rubick? This is the cast range of Fade Bolt. So he is staying in a range where he can quickly step down a little bit and use Fade Bolt to secure this range creep. But it's also far enough away that these creeps will meet this creep at, up here instead of, say, down here. It is ever so slightly more in his favor to stay out here. It's a very... these are minimal things, but it's all meant to help his lane slowly shift towards him and to still, play safe, stay competitive in this laning stage. There you go, the Fade Bolt. Cast it on the CK first, by the way, because it bounces and reduces damage. it will bounce to the range creep. It'll do less damage, but it's enough damage to secure the range creep, and so might as well get the full damage off on the CK. Again, minor, but all these small tips and tricks, that's how this guy is rank 8, or rank 9. When they go on the Void Spirit, you're throwing out the Fade Bolt because it does have that damage reduction. 10% is not as good as it used to be. Right clicks to secure another range creep. 10% is not as good as it used to be. It used to be a flat 20. But because it's percentage now, it's better in the late game. So Fade Bolt, in terms of damage reduction, worse in the early game, better late game. But you still apply it in the same cases. Like, you see them attacking your teammate, and they seem to be committed to it, throw out the Fade Bolt. Now, this hard camp is blocked, so they can't use it, so they just kind of have to play the lane. But this will push in their favor now, actually, because these creeps ran under here. It does mean they are going to possibly hit level 3 first. We need to be a little careful. And you see how much health he lost from that attack? Without these stat items, he would be down to 179 health. You know, there's still some health, but it's scary. You're getting close to being able to die like that. I'm just kind of highlighting the stats. There you go, you got the stick so that when they cast spells, you get some charges. I'm kind of surprised he doesn't have this magic stick in. Almost kill him. That Aether Lens saves him. He's going to have to salve. And now he swaps the stick in. So I don't know if that was a planned thing, if he was waiting to use the salve before putting the stick in. I kind of think he wants the stick in as soon as possible. I think maybe he was waiting for that. He wants to stay in range. Like, let's go back. Like, stuff is happening here, and he still wants to stay in range to be able to secure this range creep. But if he... You know, if he uses his salve, he has to back up and let the salve go, which means he's out of range for this range creep. So I kind of feel like he was waiting to get this range creep, and then he would back up and salve and then swap the stick in. But before he can get the Fade Bolt, see, it's not low enough to actually use Fade Bolt. The CK goes on him. Uses the salve right after this auto attack lands, so that even if she were to get another auto attack off, he would hopefully have healed enough where he doesn't die from that. But it doesn't get canceled at all, and he lives. I am mildly surprised he used a Iron Branch to Tango, because he still has 2 Tangos left. And it's not like you desperately need the clarity in. You could very easily put the clarity in, pop it, and then put your stick back in. So I'm a little surprised by that. I don't know what the logic is. In the grand scheme of things, it's a little minor, but still, I don't know. But I mean, that just goes to show the level of play here is like, what can you critique about GH? Maybe he's being minorly inefficient, but everything else is, you know, really good. Always looking... I think they actually missed that one. But they're always looking for denies. It's very hard to coordinate with a offlaner, like a pub game, to be like, hey, auto-attack this range creep right now. But you'll see it happen more and more at higher ranks, where they both know to go for it. Because getting those denies does help to push your lane forward. You'll see, like, a fight starts to break out. That means they're going to commit on this guy. Now is when you throw the Fade Bolt out to reduce their damage. I don't think they can kill her. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. I kind of missed... I missed what he bought. Actually, Observer mode. We can just check. Raindrops. Another... We already talked about it. That's for the play the lane. Speed up a little bit. Nope. Fed up too much. Gonna play really aggressive here. Try to get the kill. Just going to miss it. But now he's gonna play aggressive on the Snapfire. I kind of feel like the Snapfire got baited by that courier, and she was like walking up to kill the courier, and maybe didn't realize that GH had 7 charges on the magic stick, because he just walks out and he Fade Bolt kills her. So kind of weird. That kind of stuff will definitely happen in our games, though. It's just funny to see it happen, you know, even at this tier of gameplay. No one's perfect. Now look at this. He gets the kill immediately. He wants to do the pull. She's dead for 4 seconds. Even if she TPs it immediately, another couple of seconds. By that time, a creep could definitely be dead, or the lane has already like started to shift in your favor. Like, see, this creep's already started to die. He just got a last hit. They are not in range of any XP or anything yet, so he's gotten a last hit for free. Let's see if this creep dies. I think they're in range for that XP, but it is a free deny. Their creeps being the Radiant creeps, are all still pretty healthy, and they're being pulled up here. So at this point, they're going to get here, and they may get some of the XP from this. But, you know, they already missed 2 creeps, and the lane is now in Dire's favor. So very... not... you don't always want to do it, but I think anytime you get a kill, you should immediately think about, is this a good time to be pulling? Like, how will it affect lane equilibrium? It's going to affect me positively in this case, and they can't even stop me because Snapfire is dead. CK can't walk out here alone, and by the time Snapfire's alive, like, the pull has already done its job. Although, unfortunately, that range creep got distracted. So Void does come back to contest a little bit. And they did get that hard creep, I believe. Look at this guy. Just enough mana thanks to this raindrops. Going to be able to lift and secure the bounty rune. Raindrops keeping him fairly healthy. He is a little low at this point, but with a magic stick, just about almost has enough mana to use Fade Bolt. And if he stays here a little longer with the infused raindrops, he'll be fine. So that's why he's still out here. Even though he's not at the healthiest state, this infused raindrops gives him a little bit more health. Like, you just saw her use her spells. That usually would have chipped him down, and then he might be scared of dying. But thanks to raindrops, it keeps him at 400, and hopefully by the time they do try to commit on him again, raindrops is alive, or is ready to go again. The cooldown is off, and it'll proc again. And of course, you're getting another magic stick charge too. It's actually perfect right there. Even have this raindrop, he would definitely be dead already. He might still die here. What a guy. Barely alive. That is all thanks to raindrops, all the damage taken up. He avoids a death. All these extra stats, all of that came into play here. Now I expect him to go home because he is almost dead. Gonna swap his boots in and run back. We can speed up a little bit. You see him looking around the map, seeing if he should go anywhere else. What can he do? And also just taking stock of how the game's going. I don't think he'll buy... oh, he might buy like a mango or something. No, looks like not. Sort of go for a kill attempt. Cookie kind of messes it up. Alright, this guy just TP'd out. They didn't get the kill, unfortunate, but he is out of the lane. Look, another pull. As soon as you get a kill, as soon as someone has to TP out, there is only one other hero in the lane. They cannot contest our pull. Look how much XP could be denied here. Well, this camp's not going to kill all these creeps, but you're going to kill some of these creeps. And that is XP they're going to lose, and XP we're going to get from killing this hard camp. Snapfire can't really contest because it's 2 of us. We could kill her. Although she does, she still gets the hard camp, which is kind of funny. I guess they didn't see her, and maybe they forgot about it. I am mildly surprised he finishes the wand. Not that I think I know better than him or anything, but to me, I usually feel like... okay, let me clarify. I'm not flaming or anything. This is like a learning experience for me. Where, first of all, he did fill up his extra slots, right? He has a raindrops, has boots, has this circlet. And so if he had the stick... well, he did. He had the stick and 2 iron branches. All of his slots were filled. So this is that point where it's like, okay, I need to free up slots, so let me finish the magic wand. I often will buy another item and then just stick the iron branch in my backpack, because to me it's like not a huge deal if I'm putting like a Ring of Basilius in here instead and I have a backpack iron branch. Like, technically it's mildly inefficient, but to me it's just an iron branch. I guess to him, he would rather finish the magic wand first, go a little bit of time where these slots are empty and inefficient technically, but the slots are freed up, and he never has that waste where things are sitting in his backpack, possibly. Magic Wand is also a good item to fight early because you have those extra charges, and, you know, it's 1 extra stat. But yeah, still, to me, it's very interesting. Everyone plays it differently. I think it's hard to say what the right answer is for Magic Wand. Everyone seems to have a different opinion on it. Some people like to leave it at Magic Stick. You know, I have a feeling if we watched Yapzor, sometimes I've even seen him skip Stick, but other times he just stays at Stick and then rushes much greedier items. So it's always interesting to see the differences between all the heroes. I think they'll still get this kill, even though I think he missed his E. Yeah, looks fine. I don't know where CK is, but that just goes to show that Snapfire like really has to be careful in the lane without CK. That's kind of why that pull worked, because if it's just her, she walks up, she could die very easily, just like we saw her die right there. Now, Elsie comes down here because she can deal with this pressure a little bit more. I guess they don't want to be in this lane anymore. I'm honestly surprised. I would have thought CK plus Snapfire would have won this lane, but Void Spirit and Rubick, they managed to pull out the win. Part of that due to GH's plays. Let's look at the last hits and denies real quick. So in terms of denies, we see Rubick's got 3, he's got 6, so 9 denies between them, and they've only got 5 denies. Sounds very minor, but like that does lead to an advantage in XP. Plus, a couple of those kills or close to kills led to them establishing the level advantage. And I think now if CK were to show up at level 5, like they could possibly kill him using Void Spirit's ultimate, level 3 nukes, stuff like that. Elsie, very difficult to kill though, and her job is not so much to farm. Whereas CK needs to get a lot of farm right now. He is the hard carry. I'm kind of surprised by this TP up here. It feels a little late to me. And I kind of think he's going to die. I think if we go back. So we see 2 of his teammates up here. Stuff starts to happen and Void Spirit TPs. This is where if I'm Rubick, I think you have to TP right now. If I was Rubick, I wouldn't even notice something's happening top. Okay, but if I happen to have the awareness to see all of this happening, I think this is where you need to TP. I think maybe he was trying to wait till he hit level 6. You know, he hit level 6, Fade Bolt to that wave. Like, we see him waiting, make sure he gets that last hit, and then he starts his TP. But at this point, 2 people are dead. His 3rd hero is alone against 3, so he's probably dead too. I don't know. And now Rubick's just gonna die too. This is a good time to point out the draft issue they have, where Drow and TA, to me, fill a very similar role, where they want to farm a lot at the start, get some quick item timings, and then they're ready to push. They're both heroes that are really good in the jungle. Means TA, even when she's winning, she wants to play this lane and then come jungle these creeps. Play, jungle some of these creeps. Drow, if she wins her lane, she wants to do something very similar. And sometimes that includes even coming all the way here because she can do Ancients pretty quickly. And when she loses the lane, she definitely needs to come jungle. But she can't jungle here because Drow or TA is here. And so she has to jungle here, and this area is not as safe. Plus, TA will sometimes make use of this area too, and now TA is a little restricted. 2 heroes need to farm. Rubick wants to make plays. Void Spirit wants to make plays. Io kind of wants to attach to someone farming or to someone making plays, but like, does Io with Void Spirit sound that great? Io really needs to be matched with Drow or TA. And so this is the issue with their draft, where unless the lanes go amazing, they're going to start struggling as these cores look to jungle the same areas. Whereas look at the enemy team. CK needs to farm. Storm Spirit will need to farm, but he's also a very active hero. And so is LC. She doesn't farm as heavily. She like does stuff. And with a Snapfire, like just these 2 heroes alone could get a kill whenever Snapfire has ult. But you can't say that with, say, Rubick and Void Spirit. It's kind of tough for these guys to get a kill. Like a lot of these heroes are pretty tanky, or like in Storm Spirit's case, he can get out. Phoenix also can dive away. So it's much harder for them to get kills with only a few heroes. Though admittedly, they will have the relocate later. And if you look at their team, it's like, yeah, just a couple of our heroes could get kills. So the enemy team wants to be a lot more active. And I think that puts Rubick in a bit of an awkward spot right now. Where he's not fully sure what he can do. I mean, GH probably knows what he can do, but I think for most of us as Rubick players, we're going to feel pretty awkward at this point. Because two of our cores just need to farm the same area of the map. And it's like, it's kind of hard to make space with the 3 heroes we have. I think the enemy team is a little better draft-wise, honestly. This is kind of where you want to be. Press the attack, very good steal. This could be a good time to mention what spells you might want to look for to steal this game. Press the attack, excellent spell to steal. Any stun, always very solid with this debuff talent. Or not talent, the debuff amplification on your passive is very strong. CK stun, Snapfire ultimate if you can get that, Vortex, and press the attack. All very good spells. Phoenix spells are like okay, but Rubick's often skip Tranquils, and Phoenix's spells use health. And so it's like, if you use the Phoenix's spells too often, you just like don't have the regen and you kind of die. But the spells are pretty good against CK, so maybe. But I personally really like getting stuns when I'm Rubick to steal the stuns because you just you do some extra damage. I think he's dead here. Unfortunate. Manor pause? No, LC disconnected. All right, we're back. Rubick just fed if you forgot. Just kidding, you're not going to forget. I'll cut that out. I think Rubick wants to defend mid right now. In fact, the team just wants to defend mid because when this mid tower falls, it makes it easier to invade the jungle where Drow and TA want to be farming right now. Unfortunately, he's going to die. This is kind of the issue where we're a little awkward right now. We still need more time before our heroes are ready to do things or want to do things at all. Gonna get a kill there. That's nice. Rubick coming in because they can't kill Phoenix without a little awkward. You can't kill Phoenix without some kind of disable. Slow down. Free Phoenix kill. Right now they're feeling a little strong because all 4 of them are here. Plus Snapfire was dead. She just respawned now. And it sort of worked out where kills are sort of coming to them. But I honestly feel like this is a bit of a mistake from the enemy team just because like they're in the lead. It's only 2k, but 2k at 12 minutes is like not bad. And like this team is weak. So you don't want to run into them and feed free kills, which right now is kind of happening by people coming in, 1 or 2 at a time. So this fight going very well for them. I don't necessarily think it should, but I hope we can see like why that went well because they got a free kill here on that Snapfire, and they were 4 heroes, and the enemy keeps coming in with like 1 to 2 heroes. They never match full strength. I think it's important to recognize that, where it's like, our lineup's not supposed to be winning fights right now, but we are because the enemy team is messing up. Now, sometimes it can be something good we do if we identify an opportunity to fight like that. But sometimes those opportunities are not there if the enemy team plays smart. Rubick defending mid. Again, I think it's important to really protect this mid tower as much as you can, because as soon as this mid tower's gone, Storm Spirit is going to feel really free to invade the jungle. And you'll see right now, Drow is farming this triangle. TA starting to be a little bit more active now that she has Deso. Still wants to farm a little more until she has the blink, though. Rubick gets Arcanes now. See, this is kind of why I'm like, did you really need a magic wand? Because you're just gonna eventually, like, you're gonna go for Arcane Boots, which doesn't need another slot. So I don't know. Interesting. But anyways, I do want to point out that at least he got the magic wand. He still has a circlet from the start. He's got some consumables. he has some early game items before getting arcanes. I hate seeing people who they have all consumables from the start and then go straight into arcane boots and they just like have nothing else in their slots. You know, at least have some early game items. It's really good. Blech. Another death. But Storm's pretty free to do it, you know, because you have 2 cores who aren't going to punish him right now. And as long as you see where like the Drow silence is and where... And you don't even have to be that worried about Aether Remnant at this point, honestly. So if you're jumping the guy with the only stun, which is telekinesis, you're not going to die. The Storm's very free to make these aggressive plays. And mid's dying. They sort of want to defend it, but I think it's too late. He just kill that courier. Nice. He was pinging himself there to let Io know you can tether to him. Something you should do if you play with Ios. You don't always have to run up to them if they're being attacked. Keep your distance so that they can zip over to you with tether. And we did lose this tower. Game is not over, of course. We are losing a little bit at this point. But we need to be, you know, a little disciplined at this point. If we get picked off too much, that could be an issue. They smoke into the enemy jungle. In fact, I want to think about this. I want to think about why they did it. Who'd they take? They took a Drow, Void, and Rubick. Does he have a ward? So he does have a ward to place. Maybe he just wants to walk up to place this. They see Storm. They see 2 heroes here. But what if you run into like all 3 heroes up here and Storm just zips over? I don't know. It is a little weird to me to smoke right now. I mean, it does work out, right? They find this Snapfire kind of on her own. I mean, she's not on her own, but she's a little split up from the other people right now. It's kind of like exactly what can happen. Storm zips over to whoever's alone and gets a kill. But you do have vision here now, and TA is now in the area. You see this guy stacking. You absolutely want to try to steal this stack if you can. Okay, and then now we're just going to get out because we don't want to fight them full on. I do think someone needs to die here. So, like, if someone doesn't die here to make time, I think eventually the enemy team catches up and kills these guys. Actually, maybe Drow would just straight up die to... Yeah, Drow might straight up die to Sunray because she got veiled. So I guess Rubick does have to turn around and stop that. Be the sacrificial guy. He's going to die, but the cores are going to get away. All good. Well, I say all good. We are 4K behind at this point now, which it doesn't feel the best, but we have to drag this game out. And even in the late game, it'll still be tough. Like, their team, I think their team is pretty good in the late game. But Io is a strong hero, and I think you can hit a pretty good timing with TA and Drow. You got to pick some smart fights with it. Maybe get a little lucky. Another rough fight for them. Has Zip to get out. Sorry, we're kind of going fast at this point, but I think this point is not so important. I kind of want to highlight some other stuff that I saw later in the game. Right now, they're kind of looking for a kill because they know they just fought, and now they're going to be split up a little bit. Nice. Use this Zip to set up the stun. Just going to die for it. Do you get the Phoenix kill? But yeah, the enemy team's kind of winning these trades. And it feels really bad when the enemy team is in this triangle because this is where these guys want to farm. Unfortunately, Storm should is showing down here, so you know that you have a little bit of space. Like if he zips all the way over, he won't have any mana to continue fighting. So they are able to find the kill here. And this is starting to save the fight originally. GH looking for more, but Storm just going to get out. I just kind of want to speed up a little bit. Let's point out some of his stuff. He's getting a Philosopher's Stone, is getting the Aether. That's very common on Rubick's. He just benefits a lot out of cast range. I am a little surprised. I think the 150 health talent is pretty good, but he is choosing to continue leveling these up first. And he doesn't get the health talent until level 13, which I think is a really weird timing. Like, if you wanted to max out telekinesis first, you could just get it. In fact, let's go look at the scoreboard. You could, like, he ended up taking Arcane Supremacy, which is a little funny to me. Like, I would have thought you would just max telekinesis here. I'm pretty confident that this 8% debuff amplification does not outweigh the extra 0.4 second stun on the lift. So it's interesting to me that he chooses to get a second point in Arcane before maxing this, then chooses to get his level 2 ultimate, and then the 150 health. Like, instead of getting the 150 health like here instead of Arcane, or getting telekinesis here, and then getting the 150 health, and then getting the spell steal. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure the logic behind it. I mean, this passive is really good, Arcane Supremacy, if you steal some spells. So that might be why. But I would still think you would max lift before getting the rest of your Arcane Supremacy. And I see them going for TA, so they smoke to come up here because you can't let TA die for free. Even though they smoked, they see it going under tower, so GH does teleport to try to hopefully lift this storm or something. And he's just going to die here now, I think. But it was close. He almost got the return kill. And this fight's just going to go a bit poorly for them at this point. A nice relocate save, though. Io is going to be the one to die for it, though. Ooh, Void dies too. Oh, okay. Thought Phoenix is about to kill Drow into the tier 4s. So at this point, I would kind of expect the enemy team to win with 8k lead at 22 minutes. And with the lineup they have, I just think it's a little stronger. Spoiler alert, Rubick wins this game. The Dire wins. And that's what I want to get to. I want to show off some of the things they do to extend the game, because I think it's really cool. They'll speed up a little bit, so we're going to go find that. Now, see how the team has to play all together? You can't, like, split up and farm, because Storm Spirit is doing really well right now, and he can solo pick people off. The enemy team has just a strong lineup to get pickoffs. That means you guys have to move. Dire has to all move together to avoid getting picked off, and so they can help whoever gets jumped. But that does mean you're being less efficient with your farm. Because you're all grouped up, that means you're all farming the same camps, splitting the XP, splitting that gold. It doesn't feel as good as splitting up, but if you split up, you're going to get picked off, and that's going to be worse. So they kind of have to be together. See? All clumped together again. Enemy team gets Aegis at 24:30. Now take a look. This is where we're going to start seeing what they do. They just try to stall for time. Recently, in a Why Did I Lose, and I think a replay analysis, I talked about how enemy teams get Aegis. What should we do? We should probably try to avoid fighting a full 5-on-5 until our high ground. Like, that is when we have the best chance to fight back in a full team fight. Maybe we even sacrifice one of the Raxes and fight later if we have to. That is how much Aegis can affect a game, especially when the enemy team is ahead like this with 8k. So what we're going to see them do now is not fight. We see the enemy team is all 4 right here. So what should we do? We should split up and cut these waves. See Rubick, what's he doing? He's starting to fade bolt these waves. Cut them. Try to force someone to come back. Because if they come back, what can happen? Let's say the enemy team, actually they are all here, right? The enemy team is all here. They want to push this tower. If we cut the wave so they can't push, someone has to come back. Now, if we see them leave, and we might because we have this ward here, we suddenly know, hey, one guy is walking back here. Quickly, now you TP out. So this guy wasted his time walking back. And because that guy is away, we can take a 5-on-4 fight. Maybe even more people left from here. So it's now like a 5-on-3 fight. Now, even though this team has Aegis, if all of them are not here, we can still win a fight. It'll depend on like who leaves. Like if an Ember Spirit with bots and a Remnant leaves, like he can come back to the fight immediately, so this kind of stuff doesn't work so well. Honestly, a Storm Spirit is also pretty good at this, but they still do this. And it helps that they see Storm zip all the way over there. You see Rubick waiting to cut this mid wave. You see someone pushing in the bottom wave. This guy is making his way to cut the top wave. And now you start seeing some people teleport out. We can potentially move out. Man, Rubick wishes he had another spell so he could clear this wave instantly and not be seen. But you see, he just cut that mid wave, and that effectively buys you 30 seconds of time. That's a 10th of Aegis. Every time you do some of these tricks and waste their time, it's really good. Especially with a support who can sit in the back, cut a wave. Like, not all supports can do it, like Bane, awful. But Rubick has an AoE spell. Sometimes has two if he has one stolen. He can clear these waves really quickly, forces someone to come back to him. If he gets out, fantastic. If he gets killed back here, though, it's honestly not that bad. Because if he still successfully cut the wave and then died, someone ran all the way back here, and by the time they run all the way back, that's still like 30 seconds he bought. Rubick, pretty low level at this point, almost respawned at that point. It's 30 seconds, we're wasting Aegis time. Rubick also gets a bit of farm and experience from cutting waves. All of that stuff helps. Helps you buy time. And wastes the enemy time. Like, they want to do something with this Aegis. We're going to come back here. Great relocate save to save this fight. This is why Rubick has to TP out. But take a look at the enemy team. We actually just talked about this. Who's blue? Snapfire is down here. Storm is over here. Storm can zip, but Snapfire is too far to participate in this fight. When we all TP in here, now partially we did it because this TA was getting killed and we needed to go help her. But now that we're all here, it's 5 of us versus 3 of them. Maybe 4 if Storm zips all the way, but then he's going to be very low on mana. This fight is now, like, doable because Snapfire is not here, and her ult is actually pretty big in team fights. Let's slow down. And they don't actually fight, but then CK kind of comes in, comes out a little far, and now this is a bit free for us. We have 5 heroes here. Storm tries to go on the back line. But he's going to pay for it. He's going to die. We have to slow down because I can't talk that fast over everything. Like, now the rest of the enemy team has showed up. But we got Aegis. We only lost Void Spirit. This tower, still fairly healthy. They just used a lot of their ultimates. Like, this fight was pretty good for us considering we're 9k down right now and the enemy team had Aegis. And we did this by cutting waves, forcing people to split off. And then when we all rotated home, we were able to take a fight that favored us. Though partially, I think CK kind of walked up a little too close. But, like, if you didn't play that way, that opportunity would not be there. Like, who cares if CK plays too close if you already fed and your team is not all ready to fight? The opportunity is there because they are playing correctly, and they're hoping the enemy makes a mistake, and they did, and so they're able to capitalize on it. I think they want to kill the Snapfire. I don't know if they can get to her. Looks like she's out. Now, even though you just kind of... you didn't win that fight, but you are buying yourself more time. You kind of go back to what you were doing, where it's like, okay, we gotta play together. We just gotta, like, buy more time, stall it out. But we can win fights given the right circumstances. When someone comes out on their own too far, or when the enemy splits up and they're not supposed to. CTA is going to move away, but she has a teleport. She also has BKB and Blink and Refraction, so she can hopefully survive Storm Spirit going on her. These other heroes are going to have a scary time doing it, and they kind of have to be here ready to defend for when TA comes home. Yeah, but you see, they have like 3 heroes ready to defend if they keep going, and 2 heroes split pushing. These 2 heroes ready to teleport back to take a 5-on-5. Man, wouldn't I have felt dumb if this guy didn't have TP. But they're ready to teleport back as soon as they need to. Like, say, for example, you now see that the enemy team rotated off. Hey, we have 4 of us here. This guy has teleport. Let's go see if anyone is hanging around too long in this area. Maybe we can get a kill. We see CK illusions, but turns out he's not here. But he might have been. We might have found him. Ends up getting a blink. This is pretty good to be able to jump the Storm Spirit, catch Phoenix before she dives away. Hey, look at that. This blink... Okay, I actually went too fast there. Let's slow down. This is the blink reveal. Telekinesis into Vortex. This guy is half dead before he has been able to do anything. So that's the power of blink. To chain stun when you're a Rubick. Okay, he no longer... He had Vortex. It's now Phantasm. He stole it. I'm going to guess he was hoping to steal stun and then to throw that onto Chaos Knight to continue to chain stun him because Phantasm is just not that good on Rubick. But if you've stolen it, might as well use it to hopefully trick the enemy team, make them not sure what illusion you are. Let's take a look at his spell usage. They see Storm over here. Are they going to be able to kill him? Oh, yes. Now that fight started because 4 of us are together and the enemy team is split up, dealing with the waves we pushed out and set up earlier. And this guy's being a little greedy, a little further out than he should be. Though, to be fair, he thinks that... He doesn't know that Rubick has Blink, because Rubick just picked this up. And now, this Blink into chain stuns, thanks to this debuff, and the stuns he stole. Like, this guy dies really easily now. And we just saw this fight, so let's speed back through it. But you see, they're starting to get these opportunities based on efficient play. And in fact, they go even further. They get 2 more kills. And now you're pretty safe to move around the map. Like, now you see they're splitting up to be efficient in farming. Because is a Phoenix going to kill any of them? No. Rubick is going to take this time to... Let's see, what is he going to do? I was going to say ward, but he doesn't have one. But you see TA stealing spells. He's up here getting gold, helping TA out. Press the attack speed. The extra attack speed, really nice on his heroes. Also acts as a save. Checking Roshan, unfortunately it's not up. They see Phoenix, they would love to get a Phoenix kill right now because the enemy team is not all grouped together right now. And so if you can snowball another Phoenix kill, that means the enemy will only have 4 for a little bit, and maybe you can try to get another kill. You see him looking, but unfortunately, I don't think they find Phoenix here. Yeah, they don't get Phoenix here. But they were 10k behind. And from those fights they were able to take, they've now caught up a little bit. And by a little bit, this is actually a lot. They're essentially even though the kills do not look even, they are pretty much even at this point. You see some heroes down there, so Rubick can be up here, pushing out the lanes again, ready to TP out because he doesn't know if he might die to Storm. You see Storm here. You see all of them here. I don't think you want to fight yet. You kind of need everyone to get back together, and if you fought now, it would be bad. Hey, look at that. So why didn't that fight work out for us? Well, they had 5 heroes together, while we had 2, and we had 3. At the end of the day, Dota can be very simple sometimes. Like, whoever has more heroes in a given fight when the game is close, they tend to win the fight. And you have to be very careful about how you position on the map to not allow that to happen. Or you can be proactive and set it up by split pushing, forcing someone to come back, and then you go fight 5-on-4. It's a lot of what Dota is about. It's looking for those opportunities to take a fight when you are ahead. Whenever you're behind, that is one of the main ways you can get back ahead. Let the enemy team get overconfident, let them split up a lot, and then you have to move as a group to go kill someone. So like this Phoenix, overconfident, comes out here. The rest of her team is down there. What is a Phoenix going to do alone to these guys? Nothing really. And so she dies. And now, even though the enemy team it was 5 versus 3, and they should have been able to push this high ground, now they can't really because this guy's about to respawn, and it's 4-on-3, soon to be 4-on-4. They might be waiting for the next Aegis anyways. Speaking of which, if we look at the time, Roshan died at 24:30, and so Roshan could now be spawning up. You'll see them, they're all making their way top because, hey, we want to play in this area, we want to start getting some wards down, like, make sure they're not sneaking Rosh sort of deal. You need to start playing near the top when Aegis can be up again. Because whoever gets the next Aegis will really, like, they'll start taking the lead here. So, because of that, this is a great time to smoke. If we can get a kill right now, that gives us the chance to do Roshan, right? If they kill someone at this point, they'll be dead for a minute. At that point, like, we're really hoping Roshan respawns at some point there. And even if it doesn't, it'll give us time to de-ward their vision, set up our own, maybe get another kill. Hey, look at that. Possible kills here. Team's a little bit split up. Another great IO save. Egg not going to do that much. You see, okay. I want to point this out. Let's look back. Because I've started to say this. I've noticed that, like, sometimes people aren't looking at useful information. Watch GH. As this fight's breaking out, he's, like, moving around the edge, but then he still looks back at the fight. Like, he's moving out here and then looks back at the fight. Like, he's trying to collect as much information about what's happening. Yeah, stole Zip, and he's going to get away safely. And now they're in the lead again. You know, 5-on-3, what'd we say? It's a great time to fight. Looks like it's going to be 4. Ping Roshan. Do we have time to get this tower? Yes. And part of that is because we don't know if Roshan is up yet. We don't want all 5 of us to run up here, and then it turns out Roshan's not here. So these tower hitters can quickly kill Roshan. Who isn't good at taking the tower? Rubick, Void Spirit. Hey, one of them. Go check Roshan. Radiant structures are fortified. Hey, look at that. Roshan's up. Let's do Roshan when this tower's dead. Middle tower is under attack. Now, I think many people would be tempted here. The enemy team used Fortify, and this tier 2 just died. They have a lot of people dead, and we're all up. But what if this doesn't work out? Then we didn't get anything, and the enemy team might get Roshan now. Because they have better team fight when you take a full 5-on-5 with Snapfire ult, Phoenix ult, like, that's a little bit better than what we have. So we really need to get this Roshan right now. Storm Spirit can delay the push very easily, right? He just zips out and TPs out. Or he can just zip out and then zip home. It's very annoying. Every time he does that, he buys 30 more seconds for his team. So even though he only has 1 teleport, he could zip out, TP out, 30 seconds. Hey, look at that. Elsie's alive. Phoenix is alive. Snapfire almost alive. CK close to being alive. We don't really know if they have buybacks. Like, obviously we know, but GH, they don't know. And so we want to go get Roshan. We saw it's up. We know it's safe to do right now. They're all dead. The only risk is that Storm Spirit might steal it. But by setting up vision and by being ready to, you know, silence him or to try to lift him or something like that, that helps us out a lot. Plus, now we find him here. Just kidding. This was an illusion. I was looking at the minimap. But it's harder, right? It's much harder for Storm to zip in here and steal it. Plus, if you know he has to zip into the pit, you can be ready to lift, something like that. Whereas trying to catch him cutting the wave with his annoying zip stuff, like, that's so hard. You have no idea where he's going to stop and TP out. Now they do need to regroup, so they're all split up. Now, even though they're split up, they are on the top half, so they're not like super split up.
Where's the party?
I wonder what he's saying. I wonder if he's saying the enemy team is here, or if that's where he wants to go next. Like, someone go check this area.
Stupendous. Zip.
Now, Rubick did get a Yules. Let's talk about this. In fact, let's compare team items. What are some other things he could get? He could get a Glimmer Cape, but Io already has a Glimmer Cape, so not needed. He could get a Force Staff. But what does that do for him? That Blink doesn't quite do. In terms of mobility, he already has the Blink. Force Staff, good at saving against certain heroes like Clockwork, Nature's Prophet, Ricky, Night Stalker. Hey, none of them are in this game, so it's like always nice to have, but there's no urgent need for it. Ghost Scepter, not bad, honestly. Like, Storm will jump you, but he's mostly right clicks. Well, he's like 50% right click, so if you have the Ghost Scepter, that can help you survive, but it is going to hurt his spell damage. Could help you survive against these guys, but you shouldn't really be in range of them because you have the Blink and because you have all the cast range talents and items. The Yules is an instant disable. It's another disable to, if you get the chance to disable her ultimate, maybe cut off Phoenix when she's diving, pick him off when he stops in between zips. If your telekinesis is down, maybe you can set up Aether Remnant, maybe a Silence, maybe your own telekinesis. And if you get jumped by Storm Spirit, you could Yules yourself. You buy 2.5 seconds of survivability. Maybe you even Yules the Storm if you get a chance. But I just think there's a lot of flexibility to Yules, and I'm not really sure what else he would buy. So that's my guess on itemization. Aghanims now, after that, is kind of cool because there are several good spells to steal. And again, like, for the Yules, I get it. It's very versatile. Defensive and offensive. What else do you need at this point? I'm not quite sure. Maybe a Scythe. Just for the another instant disable on Storm. But boy, Ags is pretty fun, So I don't have the hardest logic on why he chooses Aghanims versus something else. But I do think there are some solid steals. Press the attack, multiple stuns. It's just a lot of fun on Rubick too. This is a pub game, so. Now look at them push all 5 together. Check out their positioning. Check out GH's camera. TA is up here hitting the tower. Where's Rubick? Way back here. You know why? He has a blink. If he's needed, he can blink up. And you know what? He may not even need to because he has this cast item and cast range talent. Plus, staying back here means that, remember that trick we talked about where Storm cuts the wave and TB's out? If you're fast, and this is possible with telekinesis and Yules, this isn't possible if you have like a slow projectile stun like Venge. If Storm TP's out and he cuts short here, maybe you can blink lift him. Maybe if he stops right here, hey, that's where I am, I'll just lift you. Maybe he cuts all the way back here, I can blink, lift him. Positioning back here keeps him safe and gives him the chance to get Storm Spirit. Look at Void. He doesn't need to be up here. He's not a tower hitter. So he stays back. Very safe. They're all ready for them to jump on TA. Now, Drow she was farming, so she's going to come up here and start hitting this tower as well. But that's kind of okay because she's a Drow and she hits towers. It's kind of what she does. TA's got the Aegis. It's very safe for her to do. Wait, let's get back to Rubick's position. Oh, this is Rubick's position. And actually, last point I wanted to say, and I rewound for this. What's Rubick looking at? He's looking at where the action will happen. If someone jumps on TA, he's ready to... He sees it. If he sees Storm zipping through, he's ready to move his camera and hopefully catch it. Now the enemy team decides to come back because they realize they don't have the same pushing power as the enemy team. Hey, look at that. Storm stops his zip here. Blink in, try to lift. Doesn't get it, but you see the mindset is there. He would have loved to get that lift, but it's tough. Missed the silence too. Early relocate because he thought thought something was happening. That's the tough part about playing IO. Now TA is going to secure these pretty safely. I'm a bit surprised that the enemy team decides to commit now. Maybe it's because, I don't know if they have vision. All these heroes are blocking the minimap. But maybe they thought, okay, now the enemy team is going to back up, but TA is still up here by herself. Maybe we can kill her. So they use Snapfire to throw CK up here. That surprised me a little bit, because the racks are already dead. Now the team returns. Like, this is kind of what they wanted to happen anyways. Let's check out his spell usage. First, you throw out Fade Bolt just to reduce damage in a fight. And then you see that LC wanted to kill Drow with Blink Blade Mail duel, and Drow would kill herself on the Blade Mail. Very fortunately, she got hit by the silence. Very unlucky on her part. But we're going to commit the telekinesis now to make sure she does not do anything. Make sure she doesn't, halberd or something right now. We're using it to protect and enable our Drow. We should probably steal a spell from her, too. Yeah, look at that. He has Ags, but we're going to press the attack on Drow, who got Vortex together. And I'm pretty sure she was able to use Cheese because of that, right? So we got a bit of a replay bug here. But this is the power of press the attack. Yeah. I'm pretty sure he dispelled that. It's hard to see because they're all on top of each other. I don't know if it faded naturally and then she egged as press the attack happened. The sound happens a little later. But I'm pretty sure he dispelled that Vortex on her to allow her to cheese and BKB here. And that's why this spell is so good. Because you know they're going to keep trying to jump your Drow and your TA. You lost Aegis, and you've lost IO. It's time to get out. But you got racks for it. You got a BKB. Or not a buyback. This is pretty good. Game has shifted to our favor now for sure at this point. Rubick feeling a little safe to farm, but doesn't want to go out too far because you could die. And you don't want that to happen. You don't want to get picked off right now. Because your team is in the lead once IO's up. You guys are ready to start doing stuff again. Unfortunately, TA gets jumped here. Right before they were ready, which is actually like really good for the enemy team. I know we're watching GH's perspective, but let's take a look at the free cam. It's kind of what the enemy team wants to do, right? They're look how much they're paying it. They see TA walk out. They're like, we need this kill, right? IO not yet in position because he just respawned. Like, we could go for a kill right now. And look at that. They get it. LC does die. That's kind of a saving grace because it would be 4-on-4 now. Whereas if she hadn't died, it would be 5-on-5. Or 5-on-4, sorry. So that part really helps them out. Now Rubick wants to go... He has buyback, okay? You can't do this if you don't have buyback. But Rubick has buyback. So he's going to come run down the side lanes and try to push it out. Fade Bolt and immediately hide. So the enemy team doesn't know where he is for sure. You have Blink so you can blink into trees. I think he dies here. No, he doesn't die. Look at this. IO coming in to save him. What a bro. Has the Yules to buy time for the relocate to come in and everything. Okay. Do not screw over your IO players here. Okay? Tether has a cooldown. Tether... IO came in and tethered to Rubick. If Rubick just blinks away to be safe and breaks Tether, IO cannot bring him back. Heads up play from GH. Sorry, the Storm Spirit. Heads up play from GH. He only blinks a short distance to get further away, but not break Tether. That's very important. I'm guessing many of you don't play with IOs because he's not very common in pub games. But if you do, be very careful of that. That is my pet peeve. I'm tethered to a core and they just blink out. I tether back to them and then they like force staff themselves out of tether. And it's like, I don't do anything if I'm not tethered to anyone. Please. I'm trying to save you. But look at that. He went down. Even if he had died there, it would have been fine. Because he drew the attention of Storm and other heroes to come bottom. And if he dies here, look at that. It takes 30 seconds to push this wave out. His death time is like, what, 65 seconds? So his team just needs to push out one wave, and then he respawns. Or he had buyback, and he'll just buy back when the enemy team gets here. And he's just a support. That's fine. LC has no buyback. If we kill her, that's way worse than me dying. If I was Rubick, you know? So like that kind of play, I think is very good. Plus he had the blink to like jump into trees, hopefully. That storm did catch him out, which was a bit unlucky. Or good on the storm's part, you know? But that's the idea, that with blink, you can be very safe in the trees. You're kind of like an anti-mage. A very pseudo anti-mage. Note their positioning. Hey, our fragile drow is showing, farming. She could get jumped. Let's stay back here. We are in range to cast save her. Hey, look at that. Still got press the attack. So we can do all this. Take the tome. Picks Fade Bolt duration. Or Fade Bolt cooldown talent. This talent's really good. I don't think the telekinesis distance is particularly good. The Fade Bolt's really nice against illusion heroes as well to reduce all their damage. Smoked up. Looking for kills. They want to find someone and start pushing the game in their favor again. You see the enemy team a little bit out. Still kind of waiting for Roshan. Not fully ready to commit. But a fight is breaking out. And it might be time to move in. See, this is when it feels bad, where Rubick kind of has to be the guy to go first, because he's the one with the blink initiation, right? Oops. So Rubick. He's got the blink initiation. And that's when it's a little scary. All of these heroes don't want to go in first. I don't know. That's the issue with the draft. Whereas on the enemy team, you know, like LC, Storm, they'll go in first. And then Storm can get out. And then go back in again. But Storm also likes for LC to go in first, and then he can jump after that. And then they can egg, snap viral, like all sorts of stuff. The draft is a little smoother on their side, but they've made some mistakes in the game to make this game really hard for them. Well, originally they were winning, and now it's really hard for them. Another defensive Yules to buy time. Waste Storm's BKB. Gonna Fade Bolt when we see people, lift them so they can't attack. You know, typical stuff. Just your usual Rubick things. Doesn't have a spell right now. I think press the attack faded during this fight. They might grab one. He's looking for more. Grabs Cookie. I think right now he is trying to Yules her. Yeah, try to Yules her into the Fire Snap, but then she gets out of vision, so he's giving up. At this point, I think they... Will they win the game here? I want to... Okay, look at that. Even though his team is pushing high ground, he still takes a look back at his own base. You can lose trades that you're supposed to be winning. Like, right now, they should get this Rax. But then sometimes you get ratted, right? You leave and you're like, ah, shoot, they ratted our Rax. That's really bad. You don't want that to happen. He sees 2 catapults there. In this case, Storm is here, so you're not getting ratted. But you still need to be careful about how much damage your own base could take from just creeps alone. Or if they have like a Nature's Prophet, Ember Spirit, who can bots in and then Remnant home. Like, you have to be careful of getting ratted if you're the team in the lead, which they currently are. I think we can kind of speed up at this point. We've talked about most everything I wanted to talk about, so we just need to see him close out the game. We kind of do this by watching the minimap. Right, we're trying to all get together, go find people to kill. Great time to fight right now while CK's dead. Fortunately, he dies. Sees the fight is going to keep going. Sees Phoenix Egg is probably going to die, so he's willing to commit the buyback to come in. Might not even be needed. I don't think he'll even get here in time. But they're picking off kills, looking for more. Still got to play a little safe, because you don't want to just feed a bunch of kills right here. You know, so he just died. If Void died next, that could be bad. But CK comes out a little too far, I think. Oh, he had Shadow Blade, so he gets out. But you kill the Snapfire. It's now 1 hero left. And now I think they just end the game here. Yeah, look at that. So what I want to highlight from this, if you're a Rubick player, and if you're not a Rubick player. Rubick players, I think that build at the start was really good. Getting all those stats to really fight out the lane was really smart. And note the spells he took. He had press the attack a lot of the time, because that's a really good spell for his team. Not specific to Rubick players, but support in general. They were losing. And what did he do? He helped to buy time by cutting waves, looking for pickoffs. They took smart fights, all of that. that's the hardest part to convey, is like finding those good fights to come back. And I hope that was illustrated in this game, and hopefully future games we cover, where you push out a lane, force an enemy to go to it, and then you all like go home and look for a fight when it's 5 versus 4 or something like that. That is how you can claw your way back in. Uh, Not every game, of course. There's always some variability, but in this game it was possible, and in many games it is possible. So I hope pointing it out will make it stick in your mind so you can look for that kind of stuff in your own games. I think that's it. I don't have anything else to talk about. I think we talked about all his items, his talents, all of that. Oh, we didn't talk about this, but this is really good. You know, Timeless Relic, more debuff duration, more spell damage. The big thing on Rubick is the debuff duration, because combined with Arcane Supremacy, you pretty much buff your stolen stuns by, what is it? It's 25? Yeah, so 65%. That's crazy. If you look at their stuns, you know, you've got a Snapfire who has an AoE Fire Snap Cookie, 2.2 second stun, which you then amplify up to like 3.5 second AoE stun. You got Vortex. How do I keep clicking here? You got Vortex. Where the heck's Vortex? Vortex, 2.6 second stun, and if you get Ags later, it's AoE. That's pretty nifty. Bumped up to about 4 seconds. CK stun, 4 seconds, bumped up to like 6 seconds. That's crazy. What if you 6-second stun like anyone in this game? That is mad. Combined with your telekinesis, so it's like, first off, it's like a 3-second lift into a potentially 6-second stun. Absurd. Absurd. So this item, really good on Rubick, especially if no one needs it. Because sometimes you do have a hero who wants it instead. Mid heroes who do a lot of magic damage. Someone like Leshrac, for example, who he doesn't make as good use of the debuff duration, but he puts a lot of work in with that spell damage. So it can be tough to know who should get the item. But if no one, like this case, you have several right clickers, so they don't really care about it. And yeah, Void would be decent for Timeless Relic, but I think it's better on Rubick. Especially if the enemy team has stuns. You know, if they have no stuns, slows, or silences, then it's not so good. But if you can steal a stun, it suddenly becomes amazing. With that debuff amp, it's crazy. So that is it. A little long, my bad. But I hope it helped. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Goodbye, friends.